Shaniqua, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. Again, love the series and especially love your on-camera friendship. I would let my friend live with me too. Help it out. That's good. But I want to know the chemistry. How are you guys able to work on your chemistry to make sure it resonated so well on the screen?
Work on chemistry.
I don't think.
Didn't need to do that. Shaniqua is an absolute joy to work with. Like she is giving and kind and talented. She's smart. She carves the characters out. We talk about things like, Shaniqua and I have like an open door policy, right? So it's like she just dump, dump, dump. What you doing, girl? Come on in here. Let's chat. And we will sit and chat about all things Quinn and Angie, and really like break it down and try new things and improv and have fun with one another. And I think that that's it, right? It's like that safety and that trust that we're able to have with one another, knowing that we have agency over our own characters and that we have like-minded, I don't want to say like-minded goals, but like we feel the same way about their friendship. And I think when you're on that same page, then when you play within those parameters, you just can't really go wrong. And so I've been blessed to be able to work with someone like Shaniqua and all the other girls too, but particularly for the Quinn and Angie storyline, like it's just been a blessing. So it's like, it's there, you know? I know that's a boring answer, but it's a true one.
Hey, it's real. Shaniqua, you want to add anything?
Of course. I mean, it really came naturally. I think one of the most impactful things for me is that Grace is a safe space, both on and off camera. I'm able to, because of the generosity that she has, because of the integrity she has, and the ability to advocate for herself and everyone around her, and just this natural warmth of support, and I hear you and I see you. It allows you as an actor and a partner to safely leap, knowing that I'm in a place where where the net's already going to appear. She's going to catch me. There's no judgment here. She's an improvisational queen. So therefore you feel more free to run and jump and play and explore as well. I'm just again gifted also by like her humanity. I think Grace being one of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life, and now one of my dearest friends, has allowed me to grow as an actress because I felt safe and free to play with her on set and off as well. So yeah.
Love that.
See,
Love
not making me cry in 0 to 60.
that.
I'm like, oh my Lord, I love you, girl. Okay.
Um, so Grace, you are in this new season with Mr. Kofi, Seth. And you mixing business with pleasure. And I was gonna ask, what you're doing, but then also your husband, so you know what's going, y'all, you see? So I want to know, how do you make those working relationships who do have relationships and they work together? How do you make those work?
In real life, or are you talking about
In
Quinn?
real life,
In real
man.
life. Well, okay, so I'll say this, like the circumstance with my husband was very rare, right? So it was truly one of those circumstances where it was like we actually don't date where we work. Like we really try to keep that separate. But because we both knew that each other was the one, it was like, well, we gonna make an exception here. And so I think that it's different for us in that way. So it's not like that's what I was doing just generally anyway. But I do believe that when it comes to kind of personal and professional things, like I think it's possible to work with to date somebody that you work with or to be involved, but only under like-minded circumstances, right? So it's like you both have to have the same understanding of who you are, how you operate, how you want this relationship to go, how you are on the same page with certain things. Like, are you both for PDA or not? Like, are you both like, do you both feel the same way about the professional circumstance? Do you both, you know what I mean? And so I think that if you're able to find someone who rocks with you in that way, that it's possible, but it's rare. So I think that a lot of things have to be put into place in order for something like that to happen. Was that your
No,
question?
that was good. Yes,
Oh,
that was
okay.
my question. That was
Okay,
good.
we'll make sure I answer
Thank
that.
you. Gotta see, do you want social media? Do you not want social media? You know, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, you just have to really be open and communicative about like where you guys are on the page with, and then it's possible. And then you see like a lot of people in the industry who do make it work for long periods of time. Tamia, Grant Hill, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you see these relationships that you're like, no, it can work. You just have to be on the same page. And I don't just mean like in the celebrity realm. I just mean personal and professional in general.
Love that. Awesome. Um, Talking to Angie for a little bit, then I'm gonna switch back to Shoniqua. Angie,
Okay.
you got a good man, Savannah. I'm a little nervous about how you handling him. Now, Shaniqua,
Yes.
what do you what do you think about your character's kind of position and how she is with her man, her fiance?
Think she's wonderful with her man. No, well, I think Angie is handling something that she did not expect would be an expect she it wasn't an expectation. She was very much okay, I'm free. I mean, I think you cannot have Quinn as a best friend and not have moments of like, well, maybe there is where that romantic heart seeps in, and you see moments where she mirrors her bestie's romantic heart in season one with the Uber driver. And so I do think there were shadows of it there, of increments there, but I think Angie is a free artist. And so finding someone that felt like the one so soon was jarring to her. And she had to get acclimated. That's all. And also make sure that it was real before you lock all of this down. Let me make sure I'm not missing nothing, but also make sure that this is actually where I want to be. And then,
Awesome.
yeah.
And then my last question is, the show is very inclusive, especially with the characters' different sexual preferences and things like that. I do want to know from each of you how important it is to show these various ways that humans love. Go with you, Grace, first.
Yeah, I think that I think that because each of all four of the characters, they explore love in different ways. And I think that there is a difference between the way that Ty explores love and the way that Quinn explores love, especially being in that LGBTQIA plus, circle. And I think the difference is that, Quinn's journey was more on the identity realm, right? So it's like, as I explore my identity, my sexuality is not outside of that, right? Whereas Ty was very sure in her identity as to who she loves and, who she's attracted to. And so I think it is definitely preference for somebody like Ty. And then Quinn, I think we're still exploring what that is, right? And that in itself is important to show too, because as people are learning who they are, like I said, your sexuality is not outside of that. So what does that look like for you, and how can you establish? I think the difference is for Quinn, I think she went the sexuality route and then the identity, when my advice to her would be the identity first, and then everything else will align and fall into it. And so I think just even showing those journeys, I think are really vital, because like you said, right? Like, I think that a lot of people resonate in different ways when it comes to the way that they're trying to learn about who they are, and in that express their love.
Yeah, I bet. Shaniqua, anything to add?
Yeah, I think again, just it's important to show the variance. I think people's expression of love is just as unique and specific to them as their gender identity or sexual identity or upbringing. I have to say, for me, I was nourished to see a woman who is filled with so much love externally and internally, with her love of self and these friendships, and coming from a very loving and supporting family who is sexually free, because sometimes we associate sexual freedom with pain, and seeing someone who is sexually free, so much so, but still not need the another external validation from a man. You don't see Angie chase a man because she's lacking love of self or love in any other department. And I personally really needed to see that. And as a Black woman, but also just as a I think just as a person, period. I think we associate sometimes the getting a man and having a that loving relationship as the only goal for a woman, and seeing these women who had so many other external goals as well that mirrored my own life and mirrored my friendships as well, as also saying that this love is a bonus. I think that was a beautiful message to display, but also having all the variants of saying someone actually, like, I think it is a priority. I want to be loved this way. Showing all of the nuances that we express love, I think, is very important because it gives relatability, and it also gives representation and allows you to see a lesson that you might not have thought of.
That. Thank you both so much. That's my time.